congrats to you and Team Pearson.
Oh, thank you, man. He did great.
He looked slick. He really looked good. I can't believe Felder, man. Even though he was coming off that loss off of Barbosa, his stock was high. For one, he had a great debut versus Castillo, and the fight with Barbosa was, back and forth. So I think a lot of people thought, including yours truly, that he may just be too much for Pearson. He's a hard hitter, and then that length, that size, but fucking A, Pearson proved everyone wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, we knew Paul's a tough guy. I mean, people are dodging that kid. He's legit. He's got a lot of tools. But those type of matchups, Ross does awesome with. Once he settles into the fight, he does real good at reading the guy and just keeping busy with him.
How was it? Was there motivation in him being an underdog? And he even mentioned it himself. He's had this career where it's been like win loss, win loss. He really hasn't been able to get going with any traction. But in this fight against Felder, he really looked like the type of 55er who could go on a run if he could fight like that.
Our biggest goal in this fight was trying to get Ross started early. Ross usually gets everybody's timing within the end of the first round. Our goal was to get the opponent's timing within the first minute of the first round, and once he settles in, he's able to work. Paul was big, man. He's a strong kid, and he was able to muscle Ross around that first round. So it took us a little bit to get started and get his timing down. But I don't know if you guys remember when Ross fought Edson Barboza. That was another real close fight, and we thought we had it down in Brazil, so we knew we matched up well against Paul Felder.
Eric, in our breakdown show that we had last week before UFC 191, a few of those on the panel were mentioning, well, we're not sure what kind of camp Pearson had, and the mention there went along with the fact that now we know that Neil Melanson's been over at the Blackzilian camp for a while. And then, of course, in some of the lower weight classes, there's been a little bit of an exodus with some of the guys going over to Power MMA. I mean, first of all, maybe can you speak on that, on a few of the fighters from the lower weight classes leaving and going to Power? Was that like a bad split, or what happened there?
Not at all. I mean, Michael Chandler still comes in. He still lives in San Diego. He still comes in. He was here last week. He was here for the last 2 weeks of sparring for Ross Pearson. So, I mean, like anything else, we have tons of fighters here, and we have tons of fighters that change camps. That's just happens. It's part of the sport. I mean, I've been in the sport 15 years. I'm used to it. And sometimes the kids have to find a change, something that might help them. You know what I mean? I mean, it really had nothing to do with Neil leaving. Neil just got a real good offer at the Blackzilians, and I don't hold anything against Neil. And we were hanging out this past weekend, and you can't pass up the deal that he got offered down on the Blackzilians. So I totally understand his departure. And the two guys that left, they just wanted to change, wanted to try something different. Mike I think won 3 fights with us and lost 3 fights with us. So I understand his idea to go find something else and see if somebody else could give him a different look, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And same thing with Miles Drury. He lost against Cowboy Cerrone and decided, hey, maybe I need to change. And that's just, it's at the end of it, it's their career, and they need to find out what benefits them the most.